Hi, everyone. Welcome to our in-session on Build Your Civic Action Center now. I'm going to swiftly pass on to our moderator for today, and he'll be guiding you through our quick and sweet 15-minute in-session.
Thanks, Helena. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining. My name is John Patton. Many of you may actually know me. We probably work together. I work with all of our top clients and help them develop a strategy with the Phone to Action solution, and excited to kind of lead our conversation today. I know it's an important time for folks around the election, so we're excited to be bringing you some of this content. The goal for today, our agenda, is really to understand what's going on in the changing advocacy environment, run through what we're seeing around the election, how organizations are building their election center, their civic action center, as we call it here, and then really we want to open this up to you all for a question and answer. We have a pretty tight group today, so we should have time to get to everyone's questions if you have any. So once again, thank you for joining. Please submit questions through the chat feature, and if we don't get to them, we will certainly follow up with you over email and try to have all those things answered. So with that, I want to jump right in, since we have a tight stopwatch on it, and I'm looking right at my watch as we go through here so we get to everything. We all have been observing some pretty dramatic changes in the marketplace and how we do business in the government affairs and public affairs and advocacy world. And just high level, what we're seeing at the company at Phone to Action right now across our clients is continued record usage of our platform, which has been driven not only by the work from home only environment, but also, the emergence of stimulus funding as people, companies, and industries are fighting for their salaries, their paychecks, for their businesses. And additionally, we're seeing, a lot of social changes that are resulting in folks, taking action at unprecedented rates. So our clients are really, again, seeing record usage of the platform, whether that's for grassroots advocacy campaigns or launching, for the 10th year in a row or for the first time ever, a civic action center, mobilizing people to register to vote and all of those different elements of a voter registration campaign. The real takeaway, though, is that people are more willing to take action in this environment that we just kind of outlined for a number of reasons, and the COVID effect is very real and has created a lot of confusion around the election, and we're trying to help organizations clear up some of that confusion using technology. So we can move to the next slide. Organizations have been, and companies, and whether you're in either one of those two groups, you've been focused on this crazy new environment, and we've now seen organizations kind of peering around the corner and looking at what their strategy is going to be this fall around the election. That means trying to reprioritize that and pulling that back into focus. We're seeing that organizations are channeling a lot of this energy, and it's really created an uptick in brands that are stepping into the voter engagement process and trying to find ways to connect with their different audiences and channel some of that energy into real tangible results, whether that's voter registration, polling locations, candidate lookup, all of those things. We're seeing an unprecedented uptick in that type of behavior and action. You can see here, everyone's social media feed is probably displaying some type of an action or campaign around what's going on in the world today. So by the numbers, I think it's one of the things that we can provide to our clients is understanding what we're seeing at a kind of macro level across all of our client base. And we've seen a 422% increase in Civic Action Center activity from June to May here. We've seen a 500+ point % increase in voter registration searches and polling place searches. So I think the message and takeaway here is really there's a lot of energy out there for the above mentioned reasons and macroeconomic factors. And if you're an organization that is trying to figure out how to capture that energy, or what you can do, we found that creating a civic action center or voter registration hub or whatever you all are considering is a really great nonpartisan way to get involved and provide a utility to whether that's your employees, your customers, or a different audience. This can be a very valuable way to step in. I like to think about launching a civic action center in almost a ladder of engagement. And if you're an organization that is new to advocacy, a get out the vote effort is often kind of the first step. And maybe you haven't run a contact legislator campaign, but we found that this is a way to get a win-win. You don't have the risk of upsetting an elected official, but you get the benefit of civically engaging your audience. So with the pandemic disrupting traditional voting, we're finding that polling locations are closed at a higher rate, and there's a lot of confusion for voters, and they need, information is power. So we're finding that just providing that simple information of, where to vote, what is your process based on, where you live, is extremely valuable right now to ultimately getting folks to, their polling location in November. So, again, we're within 140 days of the election, and now is the time, if you're thinking about it, to kind of put out those resources for your supporters. So, who and what organizations are getting involved? Just from our vantage point, there are a lot of big campaigns. Make Time to Vote, which is made up of companies that are looking to create the mental space and the time for their employees to get out and vote. We're seeing an unprecedented interest from companies that are getting involved. But again, we serve nonprofits, we serve companies and organizations, 501c3s, that are looking to provide that type of a similar resource using our platform to do all of those things. And I think a good takeaway here is, if this seems like a lot, you can break out each of these different pieces into their own campaign, right? So if you feel that your organization just may be comfortable with providing a polling location check, that can be an embeddable campaign or a widget that can live within your web properties. You can put it on your employee intranet or distribute it to a limited audience. You can take just the candidate lookup tool, if you feel that that's more appropriate for your brand and tone. Of course, we have built in and baked into our solution the ability to toggle between Spanish and English natively in the form. But all of this can be broken out into bite-sized pieces. And really, I think at the end of this is, we want to make it really easy for you to support your audience throughout the entire voter journey. And so with that, I know this is a 15-minute session, so it's a lightning pace. Want to open it up to questions right after we go over these three key takeaways. So if this has prompted any internal thought process, please send us a question. Again, advocacy environment is changing. People are taking action at an unprecedented rate, whether that is, again, contacting legislators, sharing their story directly with your organization, or, registering or checking their voter status. Protests are fueling election activity. Voters need solid information. And thirdly, now is the time to launch this, and really, not to make a pitch for phone to action, but this tool is really lightweight and super easy to get up and running. Our clients really just need to send us their logo and think through the copy, and we have a really user-friendly template to make that possible. So with that, I think we want to just thank you for your time here, and maybe flip over to any questions that folks have from us. So we're going to open the floor here. Great. I think we have one question from the audience already. So I'll start here. Let's see, do you think the current environment will hold? And will people keep taking action throughout the rest of the year? I mean, I'm not an expert on this, on what's happening regarding the pandemic, but I mean, reading the news, I can just say it seems like there's new information coming every day, and you know, we're expecting sort of this high level of engagement to continue for sure. I don't see any change happening there. Another question for us. How hard is it to launch a civic action center? Is that a heavy lift? I think I kind of addressed this in the presentation, but no, it's very straightforward. You know, just creating that template with our system and uploading a logo and really defining your copy and what pieces of it, you know, you want to use. And then last question, and then we're going to have to jump off here. Can the phone to action tool template be housed on our website or a link? Yes, we have clients using it in a couple of different ways. They can either link out, so if, you know, to use a really basic example, if you have your main grassroots website with a menu navigation, if you link to the Civic Action Center, we can copy the styling of your website and then use our template embedded right there, and it would take folks away. So we would call that, you know, just a click away voter hub. But if you wanted to embed it, we have embed code for the tool as well to have it live directly on your site. We do have a few more questions coming in, and we see those, and we're going to follow up directly with folks over email and make sure that we get those answered. And again, feel free to reach out to me. My information is right there. So with that, I want to thank everybody for joining and hope you turn into our next InSession and found this valuable.